Hey guys, this is April. Let me see if I can help you out a little bit on how to do those partially cut so that you can fold and raise out your pieces on your in your design space for your cardstock. The one that you showed me in particular was was a flower where some of the petals were cut so you could raise them up, but nothing else was. And the easiest way to do this in design space is to look for images that have a shadow layer. You can do it without a shadow layer, and I'm going to show you that, but it's a little more difficult and it won't always be exactly true. So some images might work well where some others will not. And another thing that you want to look for is to make sure that you have a deep enough cut in your petal for this type of image to raise the petal. Because if it's not deep enough, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of raise out of it. Like this one, for instance, it's a little short. You'll get this little bit to raise up, but the rest will be stuck. So how do we do that? I'm just going to move these out of the way. And I'm just going to, you can do your card shape or whatever. I'm just going to use a square just so you guys can see how we do that. Let's change it to white. And I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way. Okay, without a shadow layer, the first thing you want to do is duplicate. And I'm going to say duplicate again so you have an extra. And then you're going to want to come in here and make one a little bit smaller, not a lot. And you can see where it won't completely meet up and be true. So an image like this may or may not work well for you, but you can try it. Now, I'm just going to say that this particular image I picked won't work, so let's just get rid of that one. Let me duplicate this one. I'll get rid of that. That one won't work. Duplicate. Duplicate. Okay, and this one has a hole in the center, so I'm just going to go ahead and contour that out. I'm going to click on it and make it a solid. Well, I picked the wrong one, but that's okay. So I've got a solid image here. I'm going to just duplicate it because that's what I want anyway. I'll set that to the side. I'm going to change the color of one so that I can see it on top of the other one here. And again, I want to make this just slightly smaller, not a lot. That looks good. I can see the black all the way around it. That's what I want. So what you're going to do, duplicate that as well and pull that over, is put it where you want. You're going to align that and center it up, and you're going to slice, leaving that hole. Get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that, and you can see my grid back there. Now I'm going to slide this other one, bring it to the front, right over into place. Now if it cuts like that, it's just going to fall right out. We know that because this area that's cut is larger than that. But I want to make sure that I have it centered up in that hole, and I know that I cut that center, so I'm just going to line it center, leaving space all the way around that cut edge. How am I going to get that where it doesn't fall out? Let me duplicate. You can use a stem, you can use whatever you want, whatever you're going to use on your card, because you're not just going to have just a flower there. I keep doing that with my mouse. And I can slice this off at some point anywhere on there. Let's just say I duplicate it so that I can put one on there for decor for my card to raise that up, pop dot it, whatever. I am going to use this shape, and I should have made my card bigger. Let's just say, boom. Let's just make that smaller. I am going to select all three of these, and I am going to weld. Now you can see right here, there are little areas. See, this is what I mean. It didn't cut completely through here, so I needed to make that black layer a little bit bigger. But you can see these portions will all be raised up. So you can raise these up, and if that's what you're looking for, then this one's perfect. You wouldn't even need that stem. But you can see, as long as you don't have that black area there, all this black is going to be cut out, leaving you that raised edge in there, and it will be attached to the center. So that's the way you can do that. And then of course you can move this to the front. If you have your stem that you used for a decor to go to the center of the flower, wherever you wanted it to go or hang, you can do that as well. But that's going to give you that raised look on the petals. And like I said, this is not a full petal raise. I would have to make that black a little bit bigger and slice it again. But you get the gist of how that's done without a shadow layer. They don't work as well. Again, they do not work as well. These with the shadow layer will work a lot better. Let me arrange and move this to the front. I'm just going to size it down a little bit. And I'm going to ungroup that. I'm not going to move anything. I'm just going to select that back layer and my card, and I'm going to slice. And then I'm going to get rid of that back layer and my trash piece. And now my flower is sitting right there. And you can see the grid behind it, just so that just so you can see that grid a little bit better. You see the grid all the way behind it. So that means it's just going to fall out if I cut it that way, okay? And that's not what we're going for. Let me change that grid back to white. So again, you're going to need something to hold that into place. I'm going to arrange, move that to the front, and I'm going to duplicate it. Just so that when I go to put my card together, I'm going to duplicate this piece too in case you want to stack them. I'm going to duplicate that. And pop dot just to have that extra pop up. You can. So make sure that you do that. And we're just pretending that this is a stem of some sort. Of course, you would actually get whatever you want. But I'm just going to have it connect right there. So I'm going to select all, oops, I don't want to get those in there. I'm going to select all of those and weld. And now you can see, and I would probably contour out that little space right there, just to give it a solid look. This is where it's going to stay connected. It's going to be loose through all of these petals and most of this one, and then this one has a little bit of raise on it. But that is how you're going to do that. Again, you're looking for flowers that have a shadow layer already built into them, and that will work. Let me arrange, move that to the front. That way, once you cut this say out of green or whatever, you can just place that right in there, and it becomes part of your design. I don't know how much I had that other one tilted. But then it becomes part of your design, and nobody's the wiser as to where that little spot is on your flower, if that makes sense. But you can do that with several of these. Again, the deeper you have this area right here, this one is kind of iffy. This one will work, but you're not going to get a lot of raise on that petal because it doesn't cut deep enough to the center. This one cuts really good and deep. How do you do it with one like that? I'm going to ungroup it. Again, you'll want to just take and contour it and hide all contours. Take that piece and hide all contours. And now you have one that has the deep petals on it. And I think this one was really similar to the one you had. Let me get rid of that one and that one. And then I can tell you what pieces I had for what. This one's really close to, but it didn't have a shadow layer. You can bring them in. Sometimes they do and it doesn't show. So just, you know, look. Because like this one, it doesn't show a shadow layer, but look, it does have one. So you can bring them in and look and see if it has it. Now that shadow layer is smaller than the flower, so that's one that you would have to ungroup, and then you would have to resize your center and try to make that work in there. And again, you want to just get it smaller, that you can see how it's not skewed well. If you have sure cuts a lot or something like that, you might be able to take it in and get a shadow layer. Now that would probably work there. As long as none of the edges touch the edges of that one, which right about there would do it. Or you could actually let one edge touch right here and then not have to add that stem on. Let me show you that one really quick. I just use a circle for this one. You can use any shape you want for your card. This is just representing our card. Let me arrange, send that to the back. So I would take this layer and this layer and slice it. Get rid of that piece, that's trash. Get rid of that, it's trash. I haven't moved that, but I'm going to move it just a touch down, just a little bit right. Maybe even right there. And then I'm going to select those and weld it. Now keep in mind when you've got that big gap that this could be floppy, okay? So you'll probably want to connect it right here as well. And if you find that you've already done it and you've got a connection but it's not enough for you, get another shape. Get whatever shape you need, whatever you feel might work. Just kind of rotate it in there. Gonna bring that in. And of course I have to make that smaller. And then you can weld that. And then that's going to give that enough area to hold it in. And then of course you can have your stem coming out here or put another flower that you cut right over the top of that. That way it's held in a couple of places, but you still have a place where you can pop dot it up, curl it, stuff like that. So that's how you do those. And then you could also do one like this, but you want to make sure when you're looking at it that all of this is connected at some point. You don't want all these little bitty loose pieces. So again, let's just get a shape, get a square. Let's change the color and make it pretty. Let's just pick a blue here. And I'm going to size it. I'm going to take this and bring it in to the front. And of course you could do 2 or 3. You just want to weld them together. Let me duplicate this a couple of times. Let's just do 2. Okay, and let's say that's where I wanted these. I'm going to ungroup. I'm going to ungroup that one. And I can only slice 2 layers at a time. So what I want to do is select over here in my layers panel, those layers and weld them. Okay, and then I'm going to select both of my blue layers, and you can see this one even has a 3rd shadow layer in there. And I'm going to weld my blue. And then I'm going to go back. I noticed on this one, I'm just going to arrange and send that to the back. Arrange. Send that to the back, Tony. See that little hole right there? We don't need that. Contour it out before you do your slicing. Let's hide all contours. Oops, got the wrong one. Undo. I want that piece. Contour. There we go. I want to hide that little bitty piece right there. We don't need it. So now I'm going to select that. I'm going to select my square, slice, get rid of the trash, get rid of the trash. There's that piece there. I'm going to duplicate that center just in case I need it. Well, if I can get it arranged, send that to the back. There we go. And I'm going to duplicate it just for whatever reason. And then of course I'm going to get my stem or whatever it is that I want to use to hold that in there. You don't even have to have a stem, guys. You can just pick a shape, get a circle, and then select whatever area on your card that you want. Keep hitting my highlight, I know. Where you want that to join, that looks good. I'm going to duplicate that and I'm going to put one right here. Well, I said I was. Duplicate and put one right here. So this is going to join these right on this edge and kind of look like another petal. So then I'm going to select it all and weld. And now you can see that it's connected here and connected here to the base, but everything else is free where I can pop dot it up or curl it, whatever you want. So I hope that that helped you out and didn't confuse you too much. If it did, I'm sorry. Just ask questions and I'll be happy to help you and walk you through it. You guys have a great day. Give a thumbs up on the video and I'll catch you on the next one.